All right. Welcome. We've got Rick, got Alicia, Rick, again, two Ricks. Don, welcome, Don. Brandon. Brandon's on every month.
Hey, Brandon.
Try. Hey, Wendy, how are you doing?
Brandon knows Wendy.
I'm good. How are you?
Fantastic and getting better.
Are you sick too, Brandon?
No. Do I sound sick?
No, you said you're
always
getting better. So I was thinking to myself.
Oh, no. Fantastic and getting
we had
better.
Jim Ingersoll on, and he wasn't feeling good. And this week, Wendy told me she's been sick all weekend, and this meeting's gonna make Wendy feel better. So I've got that's my goal, is to help this meeting help Wendy feel better. Michael, welcome. Appreciate everybody for being on. I don't know how this call is going to go, everybody. Our active campaign has been down for about a week now, and we're trying to get that figured out. You have to love CRMs and how they kind of have you locked into their little systems. So
What CRM do you use?
Active campaign. So we and I don't think it's on them. I think it's on us. I think it's something that we need to fix. I think we have too many contacts, and we need to upgrade our whatever we're paying. Those CRMs get expensive. My word, I had no idea. You start getting into the tens and twenties of thousands of contacts, and then they start really jacking up the price on you. So
two you need to check out. HubSpot is what we use, but Airtable. Have you heard of Airtable?
No, I have not.
It starts off free and you build stuff to it, but it's less than $100 a month, even if you're maxed out.
Really? Airtable?
Yes. A lot of lenders use it.
Interesting. Yeah, did you hear that? Hopefully you can look into that. I did look at HubSpot. HubSpot is way more than Active Campaign, and I actually think Active Campaign does everything HubSpot does, maybe more. But Active Campaign is it is a robust. And honestly, we're not even using nowhere near what it can do. It's got AI integrated into it if you want it. There's a lot that you can do with that. But anyways, we're having a little bit of issues, but I think we just had a meeting right before this meeting. We'll have it figured out. So I do apologize if you guys didn't get all the reminder emails. If you're not on the list, to get on the Google Calendar, you guys can go to our website, goodsuccess.com, and make sure that you are on for that. We do blast a lot in social for this, but I do think a lot of people use the email links that we send out for everybody. So welcome everybody. I'm going to share my screen and we'll kind of get going. I do have my friend Wendy Sweet on today. I'm excited about having Wendy on. She's one of my best friends in real estate. I told you guys, I think my best friend in real estate is probably Jim Ingersoll, and he was on last month, and right up there, top. Yeah, close second. Wendy Sweet. She is a sweetheart. I met her at Collective Genius. I think it's been 11 years. It might have been 12, somewhere in that
2012, 2012 or 2013, something like that.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure 2012. So yeah, I mean, I think it was 11 years ago. Met her, and honestly, like the connection of just the fact that we're all here for a purpose, and the fact that God is really our creator and our maker, and that everything we do should be kind of pointing toward him, was a strong connection for me, and the people that I want to hang around, and the people that I think are somebody that I want to emulate. Wendy also has an amazing every week. I think it's a virtual call now. It used to be a live in-person meeting. I've been to a couple of them in South Carolina, but used to be a live in-person meeting where they'd kind of have a Christian business owners little breakfast, and they'd kind of talk about real estate. Now she does it online on Zoom kind of since the pandemic, and she's done great with that. And I encourage anybody who what time is that again, Wendy? 7 a.m.
7:30 a.m. on
7:30 Eastern
on Zoom. Yeah, and I'll make sure that I put the link up here, but you can also email me and I can get you signed up so you get reminders. But we've been doing that for 21 years.
Wow, that's awesome. Yeah, so she's
21 years.
She's got a great group with that. And I highly recommend anybody going for that and spending the time. It's definitely it's well worth it, especially if you're a Christian, wanting to do that and be a part of that group. Really, it's a really good group. Really, a lot of really good people in that group as well. So I'm gonna kind of quick go here. Welcome everybody. Thanks for being on. I just got back from 2 weeks spending with my family, and honestly, I don't want to say struggle with it because I didn't struggle, but it was definitely something that I had to think about. Hey, are we actually going to do this? I just had a big fire in our office building, literally the day after I got back from Costa Rica, which was like I think the week before our last call. And our office building, the warehouse caught on fire, and didn't really destroy most of what people would see when they come into our office. There was some smoke damage and stuff, but it's just been a massive headache you've got 30 people that you got to figure out where to put them and how to keep operating and how to not let balls fall through the cracks. And I'm sure that we've had some balls falling through the cracks. So I just appreciate any prayers that anybody can give me during this time. To me, it's really not about the money. It's really just about the hassle and all the extra little headache that kind of goes along with it. So, and pray that insurance plays nice with us. So far, I think we're okay, and things are going okay, but you never really kind of know. So, but welcome to the call today. We've got Wendy Sweet on. I was just saying this, that she is one of my best friends in real estate. She's a lender out of South Carolina, but she also does some other cool things like short-term rentals, and some other things as well that hopefully she'll talk about today. And this call I love to kind of just ask people what's going on in real estate. What are they doing? What are they seeing? I love to hear Wendy's perspective from a lender. I know from some of our deals that we're loaning on are taking a little longer to pay back right now. So we're kind of having some of these issues, and I wouldn't say major issues, but it's just different. The market's a little bit different right now. And I think going through this time, it's good to get wisdom from around the country and see different pockets and what different people's perspectives are on this. So excited to have Wendy on today. Next month, I think this is a treat. Next month, we're going to have Allie Murphy on, and she's got a great story. Her husband is an appraiser. So I'm going to give her husband a couple minutes as well to kind of, say what's going on with real estate from an appraisal's perspective. But she's got a CRM that she has available, and she does a lot of marketing for investors. She helps wholesalers sell their properties, and she's got a great story. And I think you guys will be in for a real treat for her next month. She's also going to be a speaker at our Free for All event in September. So I'm excited to have her. So make sure you guys tell your friends about that. That's going to be July 18th. So we're going to do it a little bit later in the month because of July 4th. And honestly, that week after July 4th is my quarterly meeting. So I already made that mistake once having this meeting in my meetup group in the same week as my quarterly meetings. But so we're going to push it back a week. And we're going to do this call on July 18th. And if you guys are local and you guys come to the meetup group, we're going to do the live meetup group on July 20th. Next month. So since last month, the first thing we did, literally, I think the day or two after we did a clean your block in Gary, Indiana. We went through in this whole, I don't know, these pictures probably don't even do it close to justice, but we took out about 60-70 bags of garbage and leaves and beer bottles and a bunch of stuff, and just tried to do the best we can to kind of help that block in Gary, Indiana. To me, like, if you're going to be a part of a community and you're going to say that, hey, you want to try to make money on a community, doing things like this actually helps the community and probably helps you make more money, but it also shows a good effort and kind of says, hey, like, we're not getting paid for this. In fact, I actually paid all my employees to be here working to actually do this, but we had a good time. The employees, I think this was also for us was a little bit of a morale booster as well, just because we had the fire and we were trying to figure out how to make things work as well. So we kind of had a little bit of a picnic afterwards and a little bit of a city hall meeting. My marketing team's working on a little bit of a video for this as well. But we were excited about that and kind of made that happen. Also, I figured I don't have pictures. I apologize. Been kind of running around like a chicken with my head cut off yesterday and today to get this going in our meetup group on Thursday. But my oldest daughter, our kids, we kind of do certain things with our kids. And this is something I love to kind of just, I don't even know if I'm a great teacher at it. I really just want to show by example. And I think that your kids will learn more by example than they will by you trying to teach them, as well. But one of the things that we've done with our kids is that we have had what we call family rules. And to me, it's kind of like a goal. It's like, this is what I want you to aspire to be. And our family rules are be kind, be honest, children obey your parents, no whining, and give gifts. Very simple, and but that's the goal. That's what we want them to be. When they get older, when they leave our house, like, we want them to be those things. We want them to be kind, we want them to be honest, we want them to be grateful. And we really do want to create rule followers. We don't really want rule breakers. As a lender, right, Wendy? Like, you see somebody who's a rule breaker, like, I don't know if I want to loan to that person. Like, you want somebody that understands that guardrails are there for a reason. And I know sometimes we want to stretch those limits, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that, and stretching our comfort zone. That's completely different. But I do overall believe that all authority is given by God. And I think that if you're not obeying authority, even if you don't agree with it, you got to get a checkup from the neck up, like my pastor would say. And I also want to create generous kids as well. And that's kind of what we've strived to do. And when we go on vacations, we are very purposeful about this. We actually stayed at one of our investor, Paul White's house on the Potomac. We had a good time there. And when we left, he was like, don't worry about cleaning anything up. But if you knew my wife, you knew that that's not going to be the case. Okay. When my wife leaves a place, it better be nicer than it was before she went in, or she's just not gonna, it's not going to happen. It's not going to work. She also used to run a cleaning company. She runs 35 corporate rentals right now. So she has this little thing, and no, it's going to be better, nicer than it was before we came. And Paul texted me later. He's like, we have never had anybody stay that left it as nice as you guys did. Thank you for doing all this. And Becky did the laundry and everything. But really, to us, it was like a teaching lesson that, hey, you always leave a place, you leave a person better than before they came in your presence. And we always review these core values, and we always review our things. But this year we did something. Every year we kind of do something a little bit different. But as our kids get to certain ages, we allow them to start picking and allow them to start choosing. When my kids get 16, I give them a used car. I kind of have a plan for them if they want to go to college, how we can help pay for that, and how they're going to pay for something. If they don't go to college, then they'll get a down payment on a house, and and how we can help bring them up in our business if they want to be in our business. But my oldest daughter, she loves history. So she's like, Dad, I want to do a history East Coast trip. So we started in Boston. We did all the Boston stuff with history and the Tea Party and the Underground Railroads that were up there and everything. We had a great time. And Lily kind of, I wish I had some videos to show you, but she took it upon herself to be our tour guide. She wanted to be our tour guide. And so she actually, at every stop, she had like a little 2 or 3 minute thing that she wanted to explain. This is what happened here. And we had a good time with it. We went to the Tea Party. She did all that as well. And she just really, she enjoys history. She loves history. She's super smart. So then after there, we went to Plymouth. We went to go see Plymouth Rock, and they actually have a rendition of the Mayflower there. And then that was fun. Nice, awesome bay there. Providence, Rhode Island. We're Baptist, so there's is there still in Providence, Rhode Island. So we went there. And then we stayed in the city that Yale is in Connecticut. So just kind of driving around there, just so everybody, so Lily could say she went to Yale, right? So we had fun with that real quick. And then we had spent 3 days in Philadelphia and just kind of seeing the sights there, seeing Liberty Bell, the Freedom Hall. And it was funny because when I asked my kids, what was your favorite part about it? The girl said shopping, and Zach said the tour bus. So it wasn't really the history stuff there, but we had fun in Philadelphia. The city is kind of, I wouldn't say dangerous, but it's not like what it was 10 years ago. But the food is amazing. All of my family commented how the food was good there. And then I told you a little bit about the house. We stayed on the Potomac. We went on the boats and kind of just had fun there. And then we went to a little place in Southern Virginia. I think if there's probably some people here from Virginia, Williamsburg and Jamestown. We went and spent a couple days there and had fun there. This 1770s little city. And then we went to Williamton, North Carolina, on the beach there. And we didn't go to the beach, but we actually toured an old plantation home. and had fun there. And then we went to, I think Wendy called it outdoor Walmart. I don't know. We went to Myrtle Beach, and I had never been there before, and it was definitely a little bit of touristy, but but the kids, we took the kids to a Dolly Parton has a show called like Pirates World or Pirates something. I don't know. It's a pirate show. It was really fun. Zach actually got to be in the show, so he was really excited about that. He got to chase something across the stage. We had fun with that. Also took Lily and Edie parasailing, and that was a fun time as well. And then on the way back, we spent 2.5 days in Gatlinburg, went to Dollywood, and had fun with that. So that's been me for the last 2.5 weeks. Appreciate you guys listening to that. Just always kind of want to let people know a little bit about what's going on with me. I'm still trying to figure out this fire that's going on in our office. And it's not like we don't have anything else going on with the 9 businesses that we have going on as well. We also hired a new managing broker for our brokerage. And there was one more thing I wanted to mention, but it's slipping my mind right now, so we'll just skip that. So I don't have a ton of events to promote, but I do want to continue to promote this event. This was done by Tom Nardone, the Millionaire Mailman. We had a great time this last year. If you guys are interested in this, it's next February, February 18th through 11th through the 18th. I'll be on this Investor Addicts cruise, and you guys can learn more about that at investoraddicts.com. And if you guys have events you want me to promote, please let me know. I am all about, promoting people's events that are in my network. I mean, to me, I'm not asking for anything for it. I don't care. I just want to be able to be a help, promote a deal maker. I'll promote your guys' events. I'll promote QuestCon when that comes up as well. So the people that are in our network, I definitely want to help you guys promote that. So if you guys are interested in this, you guys can go to that as well. Want to remind everybody about the Free for All event, September 7th through 9. Hopefully it'll be in my office. If not, we already have a second venue that it might be at. We'll see. But I think we're going to be able to have it at the office. We're going to have a good time. We do this for 3 reasons: to build community, to do deals, and to have fun. And that's it, guys. That's what we do. We have one rule, and one rule only. If you went last year or the year before, you know what that rule is. And the rule is no whining. So that's it. If you guys come, have a good time. Brandon's going to be there. Our speaker next month are going to be there. I'm not sure if Wendy's going to be there or not. We'll get with her on that. But ton of great speakers, and we'll have a lot of fun, get a bunch of deals done. goodsuccess.com/free-for-all. Get your tickets for that. And then also we get the videos. I'm not going to promote that much, but if you guys want from the last events, you guys can get those on our website. I want to remind everybody to join the Facebook group. We've been trying to be a little bit more proactive on the Facebook group. So if you guys have any questions or anything about anything that we can help you with, also go on that. Remember, everybody, be a conduit, not a bucket. Work to have to give. And then just real quick before we get into Wendy, this Thursday, June 15th, we've got Dave Overman. He's very excitable. I'll tell you that. If you have ever seen me do the B game, that whole interactive, I don't know what you want to call it, mastermind / connection game, I learned that from Dave. So so he I promise you he'll be entertaining. He's been doing flips for a long time, and he's somebody that definitely, we're gonna be talking about fix and flip this on this particular meeting. So he's a good person, and also kind of mindset. He does a little bit of mindset coach and that kind of stuff as well. So definitely, and I do want to remind everybody about the address change. This one will not be at our office. This one will be at 833 West Lincoln Highway, Suite 105 in Cherville, Indiana, right in the corner of 41 and 30 there, right behind Burger Haas Burgers. So if you guys want to, check that out, love to have you guys for that. Again, a reminder, next call is going to be July 18th. And without further ado, I know it took a little bit more time, Wendy. I apologize, but Wendy told me she wasn't feeling good this morning. So I'm like, I'm going to kind of try to help her out here a little bit. Thanks for being on, Wendy, and love to hear from you about what's going on in real estate, what's going on in your neck of the woods, and anything that you can give to us today.
Well, thank you. I'm really honored to be here for sure. And I apologize. I've had, I think they're calling it the new flu, where you run a fever for 4 or 5 days, and so I'm on day 5. Well, I'm enjoying the break from work. I should put it that way.
There you go.
Yeah. So, but I'm really, really, really glad to be here. I appreciate it so much. I love that you ask about what's going on in real estate, and I love that you're doing it monthly, because I'll bet you're getting a different answer every month.
Yeah, we are.
It's
Different answer every
crazy.
month, and a different answer from different parts of the country and different perspectives, because it's been a really strange era. I mean, I've been doing real estate for 20 plus years, and we haven't had an era that I feel like is like the way we have right now. It's just weird.
With the economic stuff, the black swan stuff, it's just like every time you turn around and you think, okay, things seem to be getting a little better, or they're going down the path they should be going, something else happens and throws a completely different take on what's going on. And it's really one of those things where you just really, number one, you have to be smart and understand the glory days are not here anymore. They're gone. I had someone come to me the other day trying to flip a house, and they said they're not going to flip it for less than 20,000. And I said, but it's not a deal for more than 10,000. For you to take more than 10,000. Well, I'm going to get 20,000. Okay, well, you can have all of nothing or half of something. What do you want? It's everybody has to kind of just change their mind shift on really, really what's going on. So I've been talking with Eddie Speed a lot here lately. We've been, trying to save the world behind the scenes. Like that's possible, right? We were having the same conversation. What is going on? It's just crazy. And he's putting together this new slide for a new presentation that he's doing. And he actually sent me some of his slides. And I want to just share with you some information on one of these slides that he sent me that really kind of blew my mind. So this is market trends on June 9th, 2023. And let me see where it started at. So it's starting from the year 2000 and how it's gone up and down all the way up to, 2023. So in 2023, it went all the way up. In 2021, looks more like 2022 is at an all-time high. Okay, we know we were living there at the high. But since we were at that high, the office sector is down. Let me see where those percentages are. This is what gets me. Like office space. We all know everybody's working from home now. It's not a shocker. And for some reason, people think that buying people that I know that I think are really smart are buying office space, and they can afford to do that and sit on it, and it'll turn out to be great. That's how people get rich or get more wealthy. Let's put it that way. But it's down from 20 to 50% of what it was just 2 years ago. Mm-hmm. That's a lot.
Yeah, it's interesting because, I think the explanation and something like that is there was so much free money being given out that I think companies just held on to some of this stuff for so long. And then when the free money stops, everybody's going to have to stop just, blowing money. So,
yeah,
you see the same thing with renters, like renters get all this free money and then all of a sudden they got to pay for rent. And then now all of a sudden we're seeing rents, I think, soften, at least we are. Houses are not renting in 3 days like they were.
No.
So we're definitely seeing, but office space is a unique space in its own.
Well, and then even multifamily, it's showing across the nation that it's down between 17.5% to 22.5%. Retail is down 10 to 15%, which surprises me. I expected it to be greater than that. One of the things, and I think, buying retail space, I think can be a good move if you've got the right tenants. Having an anchor store is not the safest place to be anymore. Because you don't know if they're going to hang tough, but you can't get your nails done online. You
Right.
can't get your hair cut online. You
Yep.
can't get your dry cleaning done online. So there's certain things that you're going to need retail space for no matter what. Hospitality, it's saying that it's down 12.5% at this point, but I think hospitality is going to see a much bigger hit. Jim Ingersoll posted something that I thought was really interesting about what is it, the fourth largest hotel in the world located in San Francisco. The guy who owns it lives in Richmond, which is why he posted it, but he just walked away from it. It's $1.52 billion is what it's worth. And I think his mortgage was 795 billion, just a few change, just a little bit. And $2.5 million mortgage payment. And he walked away from it because he feels like conventions through 2027 are not happening, especially in San Francisco. People are moving from San Francisco at this point. And then the thing that was down the least is industrial space. And I mean, I think we're seeing that because we know there's, with everything that's happening online, we need storages, self-storage facilities and large warehouse facilities and things like that. We're going to need more of that. So that is probably down the least at this point.
Yeah, it's interesting. I don't know if you're seeing this as much in your area, but in my area, especially on I-65 in Indiana, there has been at least 10 or 15 like massive warehouse facilities gone up. And we're not talking like 1 million square foot. We're talking like 10 million square feet of office.
Crazy.
Just insane amount of like industrial type buildings going up. And so you when you were talking about retail down 10 to 15%, that's real estate of the retail, right? We're not talking about retail.
That is correct. That is
okay.
correct. It's the real estate only on it, which is really what we need to be concerned. We need to see what's going on out here because everything that happens out in front of us like this, it makes a difference on what we need to do as investors. Even if you are just a single family rehabber, if that's what you're doing, everything that's going on outside is going to affect what we do. And it's even more important that people really stick with their formula. We've had that formula for as long as I've been in the business. It's only been 22 years that I've been in the real estate business as an investor. And we've had that, 70% rule the whole time. I've carried that 70% rule. If I've ever changed it, I've only dropped it down to 65. I've never gone above it. and it's amazing to me. The 3-year heyday that we just went through, I was amazed at the people that were buying at 85% and even 90% of what was going on, and lenders that were lending to them based on that.
Yeah.
I just my mind is blown. Now, the people that got caught were the ones that were in it about February or March of last year. And all of a sudden the rates start changing and you can't give stuff away. So, it was rough for us as lenders. We could see what was going on. And, for years, even during the heyday, we still had a cap on what we were lending on and how much we would lend. We stick with the recession resistant properties. And what I mean by that is if we have to take it back tomorrow, how quickly can I sell it? Or how quickly can I rent it and still get my investors paid? And we all know that in the areas that we lend in, that's about 400,000 or less is what that ARV is going to be. So we're trying to stay in that bubble. We also really like lending on stuff like self-storage facilities. They're kind of recession resistant. Now, they've taken a hit since the rates have changed, but people were buying them at way too high a value from what they were really worth. People, we Americans are in love with our junk. And my brother, Bill, will be the first to tell you people are crazy for what they put in self-storage facilities, but he'll tell you he also has 3 of them. Now, this guy has a garage and he has a huge backyard that he could buy a building and put a building in his backyard to store all his stuff. But he has 3 storage facilities. How do you, and as a facility owner, and I know you go through this too, Tom, the people, when we evict them out of a space, they've been paying monthly on Christmas decorations that they haven't used in 20 years, empty boxes, clothes for their 25-year-old child when they were a baby. It's just stuff they'll never use again. It blows my mind that people put that kind of money out for stuff like that. But it's a great investment if you own the place, for sure. So I guess, I'd love to have my crystal ball back, but that broke back in 2008. I wish I knew what was coming down the pike. One thing I do know is that being conservative can't be wrong.
Yeah.
It can't be the wrong decision. It can't be the wrong thing to do. You might see other people making more money than you on certain deals because they've taken those chances. But gosh, I'd much rather sleep at night.
Mm-hmm.
I'd much rather know that my investors' money is safe. I'm not, trying to get these big time double digits. I'd love to brag and say I got them all day long, but I'd much rather say they're getting all their money back plus interest. That's more important for me.
100%. I cannot stress this enough, and I'm in some different groups, and sometimes like I will literally go to the leader of these groups and I will tell them like what people are offering. And I don't think it's today, but like 2-3 years ago, people were offering things and I'm like, that can't be good. Eventually that's not going to be good. Eventually that person is not going to make money offering what they're offering. And eventually it's going to come back. And normally things pile up and there's a snowball effect and things blow up. And it blows my mind that like the basics is like return of principal is way more than return on principal. Like return of principal, guys, is the most important thing.
That's exactly right.
So it's very interesting. I love that perspective. One thing I was going to mention.
Go ahead.
I was going to say one thing I was going to mention that you kind of started with is all these black swan events. And honestly, there's the whole part of this of as a Christian, right? We're not supposed to be fearful. We're not supposed to go all this and allow that fear mongering to come into us because we know that spirit isn't the spirit of God. And we know that that's the opposite spirit. But something that reminded me, I saw this on Facebook, like the last 2 weeks. And I was like, you know what, God, I actually thanked God for showing this to me. And I don't remember all what it said, but I remember the first two. The first two said in 1970, and I didn't even know this because I wasn't born. I wasn't born till 77. So in 1970, they said that the world was going to freeze. Everybody was up in arms and we thought the world was going to freeze. In the 80s, we had global warming and we still have the global warming alarmists out there, even though the earth is actually cooled in the last 2 years.
That's right.
But so it's like, it's how I think we have to stop and look sometimes on how much of the information that we're getting out there is really just people trying to sell media and people trying to sell books and people trying to sell, like, we've got to be very careful about, like, yes, they might be smart people. Yes, we might follow them. And yes, they might have some things that are about them that are very shrewd and good and that you need to follow. But if there's a lot of fear kind of being baited in that, like, we've got to be very careful to kind of pick and choose what parts of that fear that we want to participate ourselves in. And then it's kind of funny because you're really along the same lines of my thinking right now, where I really feel like it's weird. It's not normal. And honestly, I'm taking that approach of conservative. I love that. Being conservative can't be bad. So, and like the way we're underwriting our deals now, is like, I'm looking out 6 months from now thinking, well, what if ARV was 10% lower than it is today? And I'm underwriting based on that number. You know, I think people were underwriting based on a 10 to 20% higher ARV in 6 months from today, right? I mean, so that's kind of how I'm looking at things. And even as a lender, I'm trying to be very conservative on like making sure our ARVs are not just accurate in today's, but look at what's listed in the market. Look at what those pending sales look like, and making sure that it's all what it's supposed to be. So I love the perspective also of back to the basics. And I told my team this in the spring of 2022. I'm like, guys, we have got to get back to through and through what we know will sell. And if it doesn't sell, we're okay holding. So that's what we did way back in the March of 2022. It's too late to kind of, in my opinion, say, hey, cash is king. We were ringing that bell in 2021, saying, hey, hoard as much cash as you possibly can. But also one thing I'd like to add that Wendy didn't bring, she kind of brought this up, but I think what sometimes people do during these times is they really keep their head in the sky or their head in the sand, and they don't really face what's really in front of them today. And where you're at today is a very important benchmark. Where you want to go, that's a very important thing. Don't get me wrong. I think vision is one of the most important things you can do for your business, setting goals, where are you going to go, where you want to go. But if you're not honest with yourself about where you're at today, that line that you draw to get to that somewhere place in the future is going to be wrong. You're going to draw the wrong line. You're going to end up, if I'm here in Indiana and I'm trying to get to Wendy in South Carolina, and I'm not honest with myself, and I think I'm in, San Francisco, I'm going to end up in Mexico if I draw that wrong line. So I appreciate that. You briefly mentioned rates. Any thoughts on rates right now and how they're affecting different parts of the economy? I did see some statistics that I think 33% or 38%, something like that, of the total amount of single family homes that have a mortgage on them right now were created in 2020 and 2021. That's a massive statistic. And around the same number of commercial loans, that all the commercial loans that are ever been and that are still in existence today, there's a massive amount that were created in those 2 years. And thinking what are the repercussions of that going forward, and how we can take advantage of that as investors, I think is something that I've been trying to chew around, especially in the multifamily. Because I don't think I want to buy multifamily right now unless it's cheap and unless I'm like looking at 11, 12, 13% cap rates. And I know that you're not going to get those unless you're in CD markets. But I think I'm more interested in those right now than I am in A-class, multifamily deals.
Well, one thing I want to say before I hop on rates is there is a lot of fear being sold out there. And God doesn't want us to be fearful. He wants us to be good stewards.
Amen.
And that's, again, why you need to go back to the basics, as you put it, is stick with those basics. Keep that shield on, keep that armor on, and keep moving forward with what you know is a good formula. It's tried and true. Having said that, rates is... we are only normal. In fact, we're not even up to what really normal has been for years and years and years. And it's amazing how just a few years we completely get off track on what normal is.
Right.
Even when we were all stuck wearing masks for a long time, it's kind of weird to be free again. It's amazing how quickly we can get off track. But at 7%, we're still not completely back at normal yet. And people keep talking about rates going up and down. Even if things continue going down the good pike that they think it's going to go down, I don't see rates dropping a whole lot again anyway. Rates are normal. They're where they should be. And we need to get that right in our mind. Now, the thing that you're talking about too is the commercial loans. That's probably going to be one of the biggest changes in our world as a whole, in the financial world as a whole, are these commercial loans that are getting ready to have to be refinanced. You know, they're renewed every 5 years. And we're going to be in a really different situation, because that was commercial loans for most small community banks, regional banks. That was about 70% of their business. And they're not going to have the money to renew these and continue these loans. Things are going to be, that's going to be a big upheaval for a lot of us. And so where are these people going to go for loans? Where are they going to go to get these long-term loans? I see you, rock star. That's exactly what I'm thinking too. The people that are private lenders, that have funds, that are not big institutions, that aren't funded by all these Wall Street people, they're the ones that are going to be making the loans.
Yep.
Because they're the ones that have the money.
I completely agree with you.
And the ones that can see outside the box. We get to go outside the box. We can look at a project and know the operator and know the area and realize, yeah, those numbers are good. Or, you know what, everything looks good, but we really know this area. It ain't going to happen. You know, we can see these things because we're allowed to think outside that box they put us in.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm very interested in seeing how that's going to happen, and if the feds will address it. If you know, I don't know, they're bailing out stuff you don't understand, and then I don't know. I'm anxious to see how they're going to treat all that, because I think that's going to be a big issue for a whole lot of people. This is why at this time in your investing career, if you're an investor, you need to be collecting every private money lender name you can possibly get a hold of and build a relationship and get in your head to get away from banks. I don't care what kind of investing you do, you need to get away from banks, because that is not going to be your answer. Not even close.
Mm-hmm.
Even for the bigger projects we're doing, like personally, me and my brother and some other people in our office, we're going with private lenders on stuff, long-term private lending. Right. It's the way to go. And I think there are more and more people out there that are willing to do private lending because the rates are now more better. They're more decent than they were, you know. If I got to pay 8% on a long-term loan, so be it. You know, I'll do it. If the numbers work, I'm willing to pay it.
No, 100%. I mean, Jim Ingersoll was on last month and really just talking about just partnering with people. Like 50-50 is a really good option. And I really believe it. Like right now, like even in some of the deals that I'm doing, like, I mean, I don't really care. I don't have to. I don't have to partner with people, and I don't have to give up equity. But honestly, like I'm willing to do it. Like I'm willing to do, like right now I've got a 3-unit in Pensacola, Florida, and we're doing short-term rental on it. And I'm like, I'm probably going to pay a 50% person. Like if I really want to average it out, like somewhere between 10 and 12%. And then they're also going to get the equity upside of it. But I mean, I've got private money on it right now, 8 to 10%, and I could keep it like that for a long time, but I'd be willing to give up that to give up the risk and to kind of, mitigate my risk. And I think that that's one thing that we've gotten away from, is understanding the risk that we're actually participating in. So there's a lot of risk in every single deal that we buy. And having a partner that's just a money partner, I think is actually would actually help mitigate some of that risk. So that's a really great thought. And I totally agree with you on right now. That's actually one of the points that I that I've been making for the last couple of months when I'm raising capital for our fund, is like I really believe that this is an opportunity for us, because banks are starting to get illiquid. Banks are going to start not loaning. And I think it's a great next couple 2, 3, 4 year, play for sure. Especially even if you're newer. I think even if you're newer, I wouldn't go in and just start doing loans all on your own unless you've got a lot of experience. You might want to get somebody to help you with some of that. But I think it's a good opportunity now to be in some of these funds like Wendy's fund or like Tom Berry's fund or other people. Rockstar's got a fund that does land to new developments in the Southeast, and then those have been going still well. I still think there's parts of the country that are more insulated, and Wendy's in one of those good markets. South Carolina was like number 5 in the country for people moving into the state, which actually that was a shock to me. South Carolina, I mean, I would have thought maybe Tennessee, but South Carolina slipped in there as in that top 5. But I think migration patterns really matter right now. And to try to be more insulated. So you did mention this briefly, and I kind of wanted to hit it just a little bit more. You said that you and Bill are doing some other deals yourself, and that's what I always want to get. I always want to get what is the real Wendy Sweet doing? We a lot of people that know Wendy know she has the Carolina Capital and know she does hard money lending, and I love seeing that perspective because a lender looks at a deal way different than somebody that's doing the deal sometimes. And I love to get lenders' perspectives and love to see how they're changing. Also, last month we had Jim Ingersoll on, who said he had gotten multiple offers and like $70,000 over list price for a house. And I'm like, what in the world? How can we have such different, experiences? Because I'm not seeing that. And he's in Virginia, I think the closer you get to DC, the more crazy people get.
It is. It's like a plague.
Don't you think so? I don't know. But so I love to know, what are you doing? Like, so what are these big projects that you're getting involved with? You're seeing the market from a different perspective. What are you doing right now? Maybe outside of the lending and what are you seeing in that?
So, I've changed my short-term rentals to midterm. And my income is a little bit less doing that, but my stress factor has improved incredibly. And any Airbnb person will agree with that. I enjoy that a lot more. So I've kind of settled on midterm. So I have one short-term Airbnb, and that's the only thing I have listed on Airbnb. And through that, I can funnel people into all of my other properties that are long-term, which is really, really, really nice to be able to do that. Plus I use furnished finders. Now, we do self-storage. We love self-storage. I personally love self-storage. It is, to me, it's the epitome of what I've been brought up. I started out in the hotel business in my 20s. So I'm used to occupancies and vacancies and, daily rates and all that stuff. And then the hospitality of doing Airbnb, it's kind of all rolled into one when you're in self-storage. I love it. So I do like that a lot. My brother likes that a lot. He likes it a lot because I'm the one handling it and he doesn't have to do anything. But the other thing that I'm really focused on right now is warehouse space, RV and truck parking, and of course boat parking as well. So that's probably the biggest thing on my radar right now, is looking at properties like that will serve for those purposes. There's a lot of small independent businesses that need, a boneyard in the back of their lot to be able to store, rock, like landscapers and things like that, that also want small office space, but big warehouse space. There's a lot of companies like that around here, and, plumbers, electricians, and HVAC people. There's a lot of businesses looking for places like that in a safe area. So that's probably the biggest thing for me. Now,
just real quick, I do, for the people that don't understand the difference between short-term rental and midterm rental, maybe just hit that real quick. Because I agree with you 100%. Me and Becky had 16 Airbnb vacation rentals. And now we have 35 what
Wow.
you're calling midterm rentals, and we feel like we could have 100. Like we could do it. It's way more scalable. We like it better. Yes, we actually had a guy last night. Listen to this, Wendy. We had a guy last night that works for BP, and he's going to be leaving and be gone 11 days. His stuff's still going to be in the house, but he was asking for us to give us a discount or to not charge us for those days because he's going to be out of town and BP's not going to give him a per diem. And I'm like, no, like the answer is no, no, no. Sorry. So yes, you still have some crazy out there, but it's nowhere near the crazy that you get from vacation renter people. So let's maybe hit just what the difference there is if people don't know.
Well, it's 28 days or more, basically. People who are staying for 28 days or more.
That's
and
midterm.
yes, and they're looking for, a furnished place that they can just bring their suitcase and stay. There's a lot of people that travel for a living and stay in that area for a while. A lot more than I thought. And in every kind of industry, a lot of people think, oh, traveling nurses. Yeah, but that's just one small segment. There's so many other people. We have a paper mill and a nuclear power plant fairly close. We get crews that come in and I guess they shut the plant down for a month and clean it out. So we get a lot of people in for stuff like that. It's amazing. And the construction crews that travel,
Yep.
I'm amazed at those folks that do that. Now, will I go for less than 28 days? Yes. If they say, hey, we just need it for 3 weeks, I'll do that. It's not a problem. I might have a 2-week period that I need to fill. So I'll open it up. But I want to get my long-term stuff filled. When I say long-term, midterm, which is 28 days or more, filled as much as possible. The other thing that I've gotten a lot out of, which surprised me, I didn't expect it. I've got 2 places that are I'd still call it a month-to-month lease because I want to get rid of them quickly if I need to, but they've signed a lease for a year.
We've actually had 2 or 3 that were 3-year leases.
Wow.
Like 3-year, and we still don't do leases. We do guest agreements. So it's a little different laws in your state. You probably want to look at into the difference
We'll do
between
that.
a guest agreement versus an actual lease. So they have less rights with a guest agreement than they have, at least in my state, than they have with. So basically the difference, if you guys are listening, the difference is vacation renters was what we're calling short-term rentals. And a lot of times this midterm rental is kind of a new term for people. That's mostly traveling workers. And and for us, we do a minimum of 30 days. Wendy just said 28 days. I don't think it really matters what that minimum is. I know on Airbnb, or no, in certain cities, if you do like longer than 30 days, then it's basically the same rules and laws and standards as a regular rental. And it's really hard for them to, make laws against regular rentals.
Right.
And even HOAs, if you have HOA problems that don't want to allow Airbnbs, you probably can still do regular short-term rental. I mean, midterm rentals in. So definitely some benefits there. So I'm glad you're doing that. You're doing self-storage and now you're looking into warehouse. So that's pretty cool. Anything else that you're doing differently, Wendy, now that you think that maybe you've changed over the last 18 months? The last 2 years have been kind of crazy town, I think, for everybody. But anything else that you're doing differently or any other pivots you've made?
I wish I could say, oh yeah, we've made all these changes. But quite frankly, we've been really conservative all along. and now we just seem normal. So the only change we made is our interest rate went up 1 point in what we charge. Instead of 10.99, we're sitting at 11.99. And that is really about it. Now, when we go to underwrite stuff, we don't go back 12 months. In fact, we're not even going back 6 months. We want the last 3. That's really what we're looking for. Because we really want to see what's trending in that area.
Yeah, I also want to see actives. Like we didn't used to actives at all, but also looking at actives.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. We're a little more conservative on people's experience now. We want to make sure. I love somebody that has scars. Give me a borrower that has scars. I want to see what they've done to get the scars and what they did to cure them. I like that kind of experience. I like somebody that's had to grab their bootstraps and get moving again. That's a flag. That's something to be proud of, that you've been through that, to be able to, hey, I hit a bad time and here's what happened. Here's how I fixed it. I hate it when somebody calls me and says, oh yeah, I've done 35 deals, made money on every one of them. And like, wow, so something's not right.
100%. Brandon's showing this. I don't know how to get it on my screen super fast, but I'll just kind of show it to you guys here. But it's kind of hard for me to really kind of see it from that. But it kind of basically just shows like all the different mortgages that have. So there was a good question here from Michael. So Wendy, is the last 3 months typical or just because of the current market?
Well, I can tell you the last 3 months for us, I would say 45 days even, has really turned around lending wise.
Like to the good way or the bad way?
In a great way. Like we went from having, like we look at our pipeline every week, and we went from having 5 to 8 loans in our pipeline to 28.
Yeah.
And 35, like just like in the past 45 days, that's occurred. We're also getting an enormous amount of payoff requests in, which means these houses are selling. So things have really started picking up. And it happened a little late because, we always expect that to happen around the end of February, beginning of March. It's like the light comes on and, people, it's just the real estate thing, the cycle that happens. And it happened late this year, but it's going great guns right now. I'm anxious to see how long that will last.
Yeah. We saw things. I thought things were tanking until about 2 months ago. And then all of a sudden, houses started selling. All of a sudden, it was, I don't know, it was very, you were starting to see inventory rates start to go a little higher. And then now all of a sudden there's like no inventory again. Like there really is no inventory out there,
Right.
even in the markets that aren't super good, in our market. So any other final words, Wendy? I'd love for you to get a chance to promote Sunrisers and anything that you have going on as well, your different companies. We're sitting at about 11 o'clock now. So any other closing thoughts that you wanted to get across about the market or what you're doing? Anything else that you want to let people know about?
First of all, I really want to remind people to just stick with your formula. Be smart. Don't shoot for the stars. This is a time where, and this is not a fear thing, but right now, this is how Eddie Speed put it to me. He sent me a little text the other day. I thought it was so funny. He said, there's a lot of people swimming naked right now, ain't they?
Oh yeah, he loves that one.
and it's such a good explanation right now that people were doing so well, thought they were doing so well, but they were riding a wave, and it has nothing to do with skill. The people that have ones that are continuing to be conservative. So stay on that track. That's really, really important. And if you're not coming to our Sunrisers group every Friday morning at 7:30, I put the link in there for you. We actually started this group. I used to go to a Sunrisers SUN group when I first got into this business, and every time I left there, I felt like I had to take a shower. I mean, they were just teaching people to be evil and take advantage of people. So I was sitting at a table with a couple other people that I knew were believers, and we said, we should start our own group. I was like, yeah. So we did. And that was in 2001. And it has been going on it live up until COVID hit. And I thank God for COVID for that reason. We went on Zoom, and now we regularly have at least 80 people a week on there. And I'm so excited because like last week we had Jeff Watson, Jim Ingersoll, Mary Hart's on there every now and again, and then I had a district court judge on there too, with another attorney. And we started talking about trusts and business entities, and just the brain power in there just blows my mind. All the things that you can learn, it just blows my mind. And then sometimes it just turns out to be a Jesus fest, which is really cool too. But it's really, it's just a great meeting. I've got dear friends that dear friendships I've developed from people that come to that meeting, and it's really, really good. So we'd love to have you. There's a Facebook page too, and there's a YouTube channel where they're all recorded. So if you put Sunrisers, SON, Sunrisers /YouTube, it'll pop right up. Or do that backwards, YouTube /Sunrisers, it'll pop right up and you'll get to see all the recordings too. I also do this thing called Wednesdays with Wendy, which is a mentoring session, 30-minute mentoring session that if you want to talk real estate, you can send me an email, wendy@carolinahardmoney.com, and I'll send you back an email that'll have a link for you to sign up and schedule a time for me. So we can talk real estate and just see how we can solve all the world's problems, right?
Mm-hmm. And then 2 more things I want to make sure that you mention. If somebody is interested in lending, you guys do have a lending company. Where are you doing deals at right now, Wendy?
So we lend all over the Southeast, really up and down the East Coast. So from Virginia, the Carolinas, Tennessee, Georgia, Florida. We do a little bit in Mississippi, but that's pretty much our path, is right there, the Southeastern area.
All right. And if they want to get a hold of you for that, where do they go?
Wendy@carolinahardmoney.com, or you can go right to our website, carolinahardmoney.com.
And somebody put it in the chat there, guys. And then also, I know that you're always raising money too, but I know sometimes people don't mention that. If somebody's an investor and looking to invest in that fund for you in Carolina Hard Money, how would they get a hold of you for that? Same place?
Same place. And also, you have to be accredited, of course, to get into the fund, but we also sell notes out of our fund to individuals who aren't quite accredited yet. It's a great thing for self-directed money, and we love dealing with self-directed money. We do all the paperwork for you, and our minimum on that is $50,000. So if anybody's interested in learning more about that, same place, Wendy at Carolina Hard Money.
Carolina Hard Money. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to type that in there for everybody. .com.
.com. That's it.
All right. So hopefully that's right, everybody. So you guys want to get a hold of Wendy, you guys can email her right there. Also, carolinahardmoney.com is the website as well. You guys can definitely catch her there. I highly recommend Wendy for her integrity and for, like she said, be at the beginning, keeping her investors' money safe. Nobody is perfect, and I don't think anybody should expect that of anybody. But at the end of the day, you really want people that have integrity that you're working with, people that you know are going to be honest with you when things go good. And honestly, I think it's more important to be honest when things go bad. And I appreciate Wendy for that as well. So awesome call. Thank you so much, Wendy, for investing in our community. Before we wrap up, I do kind of want to just remind everybody about, if you're local here in Northwest Indiana and you guys want to come to our next group here, it's this Thursday, June 15th in Cherville, Indiana, with Dave Overman. We're talking about fix and flips on this meetup group. And this is gonna be the first time haven't had it in my office, so I'm a little bit nervous, but please come out and support us and be there for that. And then next call is going to be July 18th, so a little bit later in the month. And we'll get our emails back up and working. And apologize for the people that didn't get your reminder emails for all that. But July 18th at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time, so it's 11 o'clock Eastern Time. So I know a lot of our people hop in are on the East Coast there. But July 18th on Tuesday, 10 a.m. Central. Allie Murphy, I promise you it'll be worth your while. She's a treat. She also has a CRM that I'm even interested in myself, kind of looking into, and we'll see if that works for us. So thank you again, Wendy, for investing in our community. I hope everybody has a great day out there. Remember to be a conduit, not a bucket. You're not on this earth just for yourself.
Right.
Work to have to give. God bless.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Wendy. Have a good day, everybody.